Hi guys, so this is my first book review, and let me start with the author who has written many books, and the first book I read about him was very inspiring. So I'm going to talk about an author called Sri M, and he has been writing a lot of spiritually related books. The first book or the first writing piece of his was The Apprentice to the Himalayan Master, of which I will probably do a book review later. But this person, this author, has had so much experience in his life, and he's willing to share it through his writings. And when you go through his writings, go through his books, you tend to realize some things in life which are thought to be as imaginary, and slowly it's with his beautiful simplified language he explains the complexities of Vedic literature and the experiences in a very simple way. So this book is called The Wisdom of the Rishis by Sri M, and it talks about this Upanishads. You can see. So it talks about Upanishads. So when I started reading this book, before reading this book, I had read a couple of other books because it is necessary to know the background of the author. You have to know what the author has experienced. And when you know how the author has experienced before writing this book, you are more into a believing system rather than being skeptical about it. So I would recommend those who like to read about spiritual journeys, about understanding spiritualism, what is spirituality, then it is very important that you go through his first book, that is The Apprentice to the Himalayan Master, and learn about him. So in this book, when he has written about Upanishads, first of all, Upanishads, Vedas are so complex in nature that unless you understand Sanskrit, it is very difficult to learn. So I personally have never learned Sanskrit. So for me, I want to gain that knowledge. I want to know what it is about. But unfortunately, if I want to learn Sanskrit and later on study those, it will take a very long time. So to get a gross idea of what it is representing, it is very important to find someone or an author who has this deep understanding and has a good control over his language, and he has written about this. Through reading these things, I found that it's helped me a lot in my journey per se, because I have studied spiritual context through Chinese language and through deep understanding of Chinese language. So I want to always like to know about Indian spiritual teachings and how they are connected to the same principle that I have learned in Chinese. So as I was going through this book, so this book is talking about Upanishads, and mainly three of them, Ishasya, Kena and Mandukya Upanishad. And he has taken some of the slokas and explained them what it means. So Upanishad, basically what it represents is like the ending of the Vedas, and they are basically a summary, a conclusion of what it represents. So it is kind of a total like package. So it talks about what supreme being is, what is that realization of the supreme being means, and it also talks about how we get there, like slowly the procedures and all those things. Apart from this, there is one very interesting thing that I would like to share, is that in this he talks about that visual aspect, is like how we see and how we perceive things, and that we are not perceiving with the eyes only, but what sees around us is that ability to see. Even when you close your eye, you see darkness. So that ability to see is very interesting, is also mentioned in the Surangama Sutra of Buddhism. It is, I have read it in Chinese, and it is called Jianxin. So it's a conversation between Buddha and Ananda. Is what he talks about is, even when you close eyes, basically all your vision, the light coming in is closed, yet you are able to see. So what gives you that ability to see? So you have to really go through the book and understand what it actually means. And if you have time, also go through Surangama Sutra. And later on, if I can find an English version of it, I'll probably go through it and also explain it in English also. Apart from that, this book also mentions about Om, how the word Om, which is a word or is a phonetic sound which exists in the universe in such a way that it doesn't have a start, it doesn't have an end. It is on the only sound which is produced when there are no two objects are striking together. We know that the sound is produced when two things collide and it creates vibration. But Om is the only sound from the beginning till the end. There is no collision of two objects. Your vocal cord is also not colliding. Your mouths are not colliding to create that sound. So it's a vibration that is present throughout the universe in every aspect of it. It is basically a sound representation of the Supreme Being, the sound representation of the God that is present in all of us. You understand? So this is another thing that is clearly mentioned in this book. And it's very interesting. If you go through the book very slowly, understanding each and every shloka as he mentioned, you will learn a lot of things about being in the moment. So just get yourself a copy and please do read, because this will enlighten some aspects of your life that are present with you, but you have ignored it. In one of the chapters, he also mentions how a conversation between different gods leads to understanding of what is true superconscious or the God is, or the true nature of Supreme Being is. As how different God, they think then they know. That is what we as human beings have misunderstood, that we know God, or we know what the knowledge that we have is so limited, that yet we are so egoistic that we think that whatever we know is the true self. So in my previous videos about Chinese medicine, acupuncture, I have also mentioned about Qi, and that the words cannot express Qi, that we don't actually know it, what Tao is, what Qi is. We just think we know. So the words are never enough to explain something that is beyond the words. The words are coming from the Supreme Being, so they are not good enough to express it. So you have to actually experience it. You have to actually practice sadhana till you actually feel you're close to it. And unless you are actually at level of a Buddha or level of a Siddha Purush, you will never actually know what true Supreme Being is. And that is the beauty of it. That is the beauty, the path, the search, the journey to attain that journey to go and unite with Paramatma is the true nature of us. That is the true path. It is not about just doing our day-to-day chores and ignoring who we are. The true nature of our life, the true purpose of our life on this planet is to experience the life around in the moment, to experience all aspects of it, and at the same time have a focus of returning back to that Paramatma. That is to achieve that Uji state that I talked about in Tai Chi videos. That Uji where nothingness exists, nothing exists. So do read this. And one more thing before I end this video I like to mention is that, so as I mentioned, the God's conversation, and that is the nature of how the Supreme Being is hidden, yet it is in front of you. So in that, there is also something which he clearly talks about, is that to know the Supreme Being, the only way is to overcome the sensory organs, overcome your perception, overcome your limited knowledge and try to go within, find yourself. And when you find yourself, then only you can find who made this self. So this is very interesting. And then the Indra and the other devas are told by Uma. Uma is basically Shakti. Shakti in spiritual language also can be taken as the Kundalini. So only when your true power inside, the true nature of yourself is revealed through Kundalini, then only you will be able to be enlightened enough to overcome your senses, to see beyond the physical, beyond the energy, and go beyond to the superconsciousness. So stay tuned, because I'm going to do more of this book reviews, so that you have an idea about what you should read, what you should look out when you're reading particular text, and be tuned with it. And so stay tuned, do subscribe to our channel, and also do like this video and share it to your friends. So next book that is on the way is about mythologies regarding to yoga. So stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.